They doubted him, they passed on him, they never believed in him. But now, Todd Monken is making moves behind the scenes, and if this works, the entire NFL got it wrong about Shedeur Sanders.
There's this perception around the Browns, like, what can go wrong, will go wrong. People always read the worst into what happens here. How can you guys change that perception?
Winning. Oh, it changes everything, right? Winning changes everything, right? I told the coaches that the other day, right? Or playing well. How does a player stop a narrative? Play well. How do we stop a narrative on offense? Score. How do you stop a narrative of winning? Win. It's pretty freaking simple, right? I mean, is that not life in general, right? There is a narrative out there that, you're not a good husband. Well, change. Be a good husband, right? All that's part of it, right? Change the narrative. Become that. That's what we have to do. It's real simple.
The energy that Todd Monken has. I love the fact that he's a straight shooter. I love the fact that he told people when they asking him questions, he's like, listen, man, they keep asking him about weird stuff like, oh, Shedeur Sanders got you a horse head. Okay, yeah, what's up? That's cool. We about this work. What we should be talking about is I like the fact that he been here every single day and been spent his time in Cleveland getting to know what I told him.
Imagine working your entire life for one shot, one moment, one chance to prove every single person wrong who ever doubted you. Now imagine the guy who was supposed to believe in you the most won't even call you QB1. That's where Shedeur Sanders is right now. And today, Todd Monken just broke his silence. And what he said, it changes everything for the Cleveland Browns in 2026. Stay with me, because this story is deeper than football.
I'm more bullish on them. And why I believe that the Cleveland Browns could have a great season and surprise a lot of people this year. I look at the roster, and one of the things that frustrates me a little bit is that when you take a look at the Cleveland Browns, we're willing to look at other teams, and we're willing to look at other teams like the Patriots and say, oh, they got Drake May. They were really confident with Drake May, and Mike Vrabel was coming, and they liked him as a coach. And all of those things we are able to look at and say, those guys parlayed their way right into a Super Bowl appearance.
Let's go back for a second. The Cleveland Browns fired Kevin Stefanski. The locker room was shattered. The fan base was exhausted. And this franchise, a franchise that has been through more heartbreak than almost any other team in NFL history, was sitting there at rock bottom again. 5 wins, 12 losses, a league worst offensive grade of 52.0, and a rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, thrown into the fire with 0 first-team reps, a broken offensive line, and receivers dropping balls left and right. And people had the nerve to say Shedeur Sanders was the problem. But here's what the media wasn't talking about. Here's what got buried under all the noise about horseheads and missed photo shoots. While everyone was laughing at Cleveland, Todd Monken was studying. He wasn't tweeting, he wasn't doing press runs, he was watching tape, he was building a plan, and now that plan is starting to come to the surface. Before we talk about what Monken is doing, you need to understand who Todd Monken actually is. This isn't just some recycled coordinator getting his first head coaching shot and playing it safe. This is the man who helped turn Lamar Jackson into a 2-time MVP. This is the offensive mind behind one of the most explosive attacks in the entire NFL. This is a coach who doesn't run from competition, he creates it. And here's the thing that separates Monken from every coach the Browns have had in recent memory. He's a straight shooter. When the media showed up asking him about Shedeur missing the team photo, you know what Monken said? He basically told them, I don't care about that. What I care about is that this kid has been here every single day, putting in the work, getting to know this offense. That's what matters. No games, no politics, just football. That energy, that attitude is exactly what the Cleveland Browns have been missing for years. And G. Bush from Browns Nation said it perfectly. When you get new energy in a building, when you get a coach that comes in with a new lease on life and refuses to play the rebuild game, that changes the entire DNA of a team. Monken didn't come to Cleveland to be a 2027 or 2028 guy. He came here to win. Now.
Hey, you know about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. What do you think, and what have you seen from them on tape that you think you can accentuate some of the things that you've done in college and pros? Those are the questions I want to ask. Can Titus Howard play on the left side? I want to ask him. DeJuan Jones, they use him at left tackle. Is he a right tackle now? I want to know all of these specific things that we will need to get to. And I like the fact that Todd Monken is telling you, I don't give a damn about them questions. I don't care nothing about that.
Now, let's get to the moment everyone's been waiting for. At the NFL league meetings, Todd Monken dropped a statement that sent shockwaves through the entire league. He confirmed that quarterback reps will not be divided equally heading into the 2026 offseason workouts. One quarterback is going to get the majority of the first-team reps. And while Monken didn't officially hand Shedeur Sanders the QB1 title, everything he has said since day one of this job is pointing in one direction. At the NFL Combine, Monken looked the media dead in the eyes and said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Sure, Shedeur can be our starter. What you see in him is elite playmaking ability. That's in him. You've seen it in college. You saw it on tape last year. Elite playmaking ability." This is Lamar Jackson's former offensive coordinator, a man who has been around greatness, looking at Shedeur Sanders and seeing elite. Let that sink in for a second. Now, is it a done deal? No. Deshaun Watson is still on the roster. Dylan Gabriel is still in the room. Monken has been careful not to make promises he can't keep, and that's what a real coach does. But if you read between the lines, the message is clear. Shedeur Sanders is the future of this franchise, and Todd Monken is the man who's going to unlock it. Here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly, a little frustrating, because while the national media keeps writing Cleveland off, keeps laughing at this franchise, people like G. Bush are sitting back and seeing something the rest of the country refuses to acknowledge. Look at this defensive roster for a second. Myles Garrett, arguably the best defensive player on the planet, just broke the sack record. Grant Delpit is developing into one of the better safeties in the league. Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, Mason Graham coming into his own, Malik Collins returning. The defense is already elite, already built, already ready. And now, for the first time in a long time, the Browns have a legitimate offensive mind in charge. A coach who's done it at the highest level. A coach who's calling his own plays. A coach who is hungry. Think about the New England Patriots just a year ago. People were completely sleeping on Drake May. Vrabel came in, new energy, new belief, and suddenly they're talking about Super Bowl trajectories. Think about the Houston Texans when C.J. Stroud stepped in. Nobody believed, everybody laughed, and then, boom, playoff run out of nowhere. That's exactly what this Cleveland Browns team is setting up to be. And here's where the wildest part of all this. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network is reporting that the Browns could be willing to trade up in the 2026 NFL Draft. This is a team that last year shocked everyone by trading out of the second pick, giving up Travis Hunter, and flipping that into Mason Graham and a top linebacker. People thought that was crazy. Turns out it was genius.
And the reason I like it is because for the past 6 years, we've all been comfortable. I think our media is comfortable. I think certain players was comfortable. And I like the fact that now it's a competition, not only at quarterback, but a lot of different places, right? If you're Jerry Jeudy, you were brought in to be the number one receiver, but you're going to have to impress Todd Monken in this new offense. It don't matter what Stefanski wanted. If you are a guy like Myles Garrett, hey, Myles Garrett is going to be Myles Garrett. He broke the sack record. All right, well, now you got a new defensive coordinator.
Now, Monken and Andrew Berry are on the same page. They're aligned, they're aggressive, and they are not sitting around waiting for talent to come to them. They are going to go get it. But let's come back to Shedeur for a moment, because this isn't just a football story. This kid, Shedeur Sanders, went through something in 2025 that most professional athletes never have to deal with. He was a fifth-round pick. Fifth round, a quarterback who by every measure should have gone in the top 10, and he sat there, waited, slid, and landed in Cleveland under the worst possible circumstances. No first-team reps until Week 11, an offensive line that was getting destroyed, a receiving corps that was inconsistent at best, and a city of fans that, through no fault of their own, had been burned so many times they didn't know whether to believe or not. And through all of that, through 23 sacks, through 10 interceptions, through all the criticism, Shedeur Sanders still showed flashes of something real. His yards per completion, 11.7, ranked top 10 in the entire NFL among qualifying quarterbacks. Top 10! Not bad for a failed rookie, right? And now, with a real offensive line being built around him, with Elton Jenkins, Titus Howard, and Zion Johnson coming in to protect him, with Jerry Jeudy, a legitimate #1 receiver on the outside, with a tight end room led by Harold Fannin Jr., the pieces are finally being assembled. Monken built an offense around Lamar Jackson's strengths. He didn't try to make Jackson fit a system. He built the system around what Jackson could do. And guess what? He said the exact same thing about Shedeur. Every player in the NFL is elite. They all have at least one trait that allows them to play at a high level. You just have to find what that is and not put a square peg in a round hole. That's not just coaching philosophy. That's a promise to Shedeur Sanders. So, here's where we land. The Cleveland Browns, a franchise that has been the punchline of the NFL for 2 decades, are quietly, methodically, aggressively building something real. They have an elite defense already in place. They have an offensive genius calling his own plays for the first time as a head coach. They have a young quarterback with elite playmaking ability who hasn't even scratched the surface of what he's capable of. And they have a front office that is bold enough to trade up, trade down, do whatever it takes to put the best team on the field. People are sleeping on Cleveland. The media is sleeping on Cleveland. But Todd Monken is wide awake. And Shedeur Sanders, he's been in that building every single day. The question isn't whether this team can surprise people in 2026. The question is, are you going to be watching when they do? If you made it this far, you already know this channel is different. We don't do fluff, we don't do clickbait for the sake of it. We bring you real analysis, real stories, and real Browns coverage that the national media refuses to give you. If this video gave you something to think about, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on that bell notification so you never miss a video. Drop a comment below. Do you believe in Shedeur Sanders and the 2026 Browns? Let me know. We are Keep the Vision, and we are just getting started.